computers. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming for our sessions. We are in the sixth meeting for the courses Financial Technology and Data Analytics. Let me to share it first. Okay. As you can see in our virtual class, Ukrida virtual class, we are in the session number 6, 25 on March. And while you're looking at the previous session, in session number 5, we have a topic for emerging market and social impact. It's taken for last week's, and then you do some quizzes in quiz number 3 with the duration of 12 minutes, and then you can see here the link about the class recordings. So if you want to repeat your class, you can check to your class recordings, and you can learn by individually activities or individual tasks. And for these sessions today, we are in session number 6 with the topics about the fintech solutions. And it's taken for it's our textbooks, the fintech book for investor, entrepreneur, and visionaries, and we are in the chapter number 7. Okay, let's start the meetings to trying to have fun discussions about how fintechs become the solution in our digital markets. It's starting about the path for business to business supply chains. It's talk about the connections between the companies or the business to another business. What is the mean of a B2B interactions or business to business interactions? It's like the complex of the commerce activity. B2B or business to business is like a network that offering solutions for the common problems in markets, like the automatizations, the efficiency of cost, and also with the transparency. It's talk about the spend management or management about the spending our cash flow. It's still for the indirect connections, but we have the data that 73% of enterprises that believe that B2B commerce will enhancing our collaborations between the buyers in the market and the supplier, and they can connect things to create with new insights or new innovations to the customers. So this is the concept about the complex of commerce or business in our real worlds. The second part, we have situations that's a difference to be the payments problems. What is the meaning of the payment problems? The payment problem is comes from the three major factors, starting for the tax regulations that will be differs for every countries. I think that we have the difference for the okay, we have the difference. Okay, yes, it is coming. We have the different innovations about the like the differences in tax regulations. Maybe for Indonesia, we have the 10% for any transactions between the financial services. But in maybe in the Philippines, is under the 5% about the any kind of transactions in financial services. The second big factor is the price of goods. The price of goods is depend on the different categories. The difference condition is subject to the volume of discount, taking the discount informations to your different micro or measuring economics conditions, and also have the spatial over and the another's factors that could be met the prices should be inflated or maybe deflated. It depend on the situations. And the last factor, the big factor, is about the shipping ads. The shipping ads is depend on the situations by the companies or a business to business. Sometimes we are using about the destinations point for the shippings, and some of the companies using the in others the shipping point interactions, not by the destinations activity. And with the payments problems, with the payments category, we found that more than 60% of business to business transactions needs a manual interventions. What kind of the manual interventions are the manuals doing in the business? They should be split, combine, or sometimes reroute or reschedules and alter for the transactions for any reasons, and joining about the business or to be offering in another business transactions, because this interventions is creating some a nightmare for companies, especially for taking the remittance or maybe needs some reconciliations in their accounting transactions. So this is the problems that will be arising between the companies and between the productions will be shipping or will be taking for the customer to the business activity using the different interconnections. Okay. Uh, Next to the informations, we have the three kinds of the three maps about the global payment reports. It's getting through a broken systems in our financial services, and they create a new situations using the dynamic payments. What is the meaning of global payment reports? In these reports, we found that the 78% of companies cannot forecast their cash flow with the high accuracy. It's only a 5% of accuracy. And then more there have conditions, they can report about the issue for the poor visibility and a control between the supplier payments. That's met another problems, and over than 60% the payment are handled manually, because most of them is having the payment mismatch from the banking or maybe for the producer's payments. And then we found that over the 30% of P2P invoices are paid after the maybe over the 1 month of periods. So this is the problems that could be happens in the global payment reports, because it's inverse with the transactions between the countries. And that's they are creating about the broken systems and creating with the new solutions with the dynamic payments. The kind of dynamic payments is taken connections between our core banking systems, collaborates with the rich data of attachment, and they are maintaining about the workflow integrations uh, to creating about safe and secure transactions, the dynamic payments, and also with the smart payment strategy to taking for real-time transactions and tracking with the rich data. And I think that's a new standard in the banking applications. So for the next movements, we have the innovations in the point of sales activity. Uh, it's including about the payment activity and talking about the point of sales. What is the meaning of the point of sales? We need to connecting about the three pillar in the financial transactions. The point of sales have the focus on sales activity. So the sales activity is connecting between the customers and merchants, with including banks in the middles about these transactions. So we call it the three pillars of transactions. the three pillar of transactions, including the merchants, bankings, and also with the customers. After the three pillar of the financial transactions, we create the building blocks of a new banks. The point of sales is become the preferred touch point activity or the touch point of applications because they are acquiring about the customer identity. Our data will be acts and reacts to be combined and to be synchronized using the current context and pairing with the back-end services in the banking activity. So with these informations, with this data, we can connecting not only business to business, but we can connecting B2B to C, from business to business and to customers. So it should be automatic with the integration of data taken by the flowing conditions in financial services using the financial technology. So we can make some automatizations using a software as a services. We call SaaS. It connecting the data from merchants and also with the customer. So the banks need to be transform their capabilities into the technology, especially for their marketing agency. So this is the new era about the building blocks in the new banking activity or in the future of banking. So for the next futures, we have to some innovations with a predictive of algorithms. This is creating some innovative with the online banking solutions. So the banking activity, not only in the physicals, they do some transactions, they do some services using the online banking solutions. What is the background with the online banking solutions? We start about the financial crisis, like the global crisis in 2008 from the America, with the falling down of the Lehman Brothers, the oldest bank in the world, and they creating about the significance about the non-performing loan ratio in a banking in the banking's informations. So in these ones, in these parts, we have the different information. The loan ratio is taken for the properties and the real estate sectors. And then lots of the banking transactions move to the digital and also with the retail bankings, thriving with the new applications, with the new apps to be key success factors to survive in the digital era. So with these ones, we have a lot of examples like the private customers to be creating but the cash flow forecast. You have the private investment partner that could be forecasting about what is the next or how much your cash flow for the 1 year, 2 year, or maybe in maybe for the 5 years later. And then we have the tough about the business, combined about the business and their integrations to the banking data. We're still struggling about the integration of data from the individual's data to the banking applications or the banking's account. And then we have a new applying predictive analysis for the small medium enterprises. So in Indonesia is having lots of the small medium enterprises, and also in your companies, in your countries of Philippines, there are lots of SME needs to be reached by the bank. So they are not only with the unbanked institutions. They have a lot of access, and they need to be access to the banking services that will be connecting to another informations. Okay. For the next points, we have the big data. The big data is the cornerstones about the regulatory informations, and they'll be taken for the big data in a bankings or the central banks. But remember that our big data in the central bank is implemented is very slow. It's been too slow for our countries. And if you can ask that, could be internet's big data is directly applied to our bank? Yes, we have two kinds of information, like the marketings, the knowing your customer data, and also to taking for fraud detections. We need this data because the big data is the main factors to detecting about the applications or maybe with the fraud activity or taking with the marketing database to the bank services or the financial services. The next point is that we can asking about the is it a real time or we have the consistent data that obtained about our big data technology. We have some problems. For example, we need an unlimited storage because the data will be in a huge capacity. So the storage will be full. So we need to uh, have some accesses for unlimited storage. And then we need to uh, increase the capabilities of our servers or the big data. And then about the caching capabilities. The capabilities and the caching capabilities is differ by the server or big data that should be implemented in our central bank. The big data of technology is the best technology for now, for the current situations, to be implemented in the compliance system. We have seven informations to be informed you that the big data is could be best for compliance systems. It's can be implemented in our trading system in the capital markets, and then we can driving some of market data. We can make some referentials for a new customers, a new potential customers, and also with the customer relationship management or CRM. And this data will be connected to external financials data. So the financials, it's financially more of the bank or unbanked people will be connected, and they give us about the real time and the historical news to have a good decisions or to create a decisions with the investments decisions with the investment study. And then it's also connected with our individual data in governmental. So it's also have some connections in government data, and the many others will be connecting using the big data technology. So this is the impact using the big data in our technology. But please remind that there is inefficiency with our implementation in big data. We have some problems for the flexibility of big data. It's depend on the capacity, the builds of the capacity and with the storage from the big data technology. And then we have another problem for the elasticity and the scalability of our cloud technology. Since we have the limited storage, it should be separate. It should be taken by the efficiency. What kind of data that should be safe or should be for the security of the data. And then we have the problems to combining about the internal data and the external data. The combination with this kind of data, the two kind of data, will be made some redundant or will be made for residual data. So what should we do about the redundant data or maybe with the residual data? We need to make some adjustments. The next about our in danger is about the enhancing with the traditional approaches, because lots of peoples in the current situations is not with the very familiar with the technology, especially for the big data, because we are not all of us from the alpha generations. We still from the baby boomers generations, or maybe the Gen Z generations. They have more informations in the traditional approaches, not with the moderns or with the new kind of technology approaches. And with any kind of data, we'll be connecting using the big data technology. We need to audit everything, not only in financials, but it's have the capability in the storage, the security, or with the capacity of our data. So we need to make some audit investigations in every kind of anything of aspects. So that is the effect to do or combining about the big data in our technology. We can see about these diagrams, how to connecting internal data sources and external data sources. The data will be capturing any kind of informations. For examples, we have lots of the internal data sources, such as the CRMs, the loan activity, the insurance data, the warehouse, the bad reputations, and any kind of referentials to our customers. And it combines to the external sources, such as the LinkedIn's maybe, or maybe in our that LinkedIn is our socials media for the curriculum vitae. So it could be taken by our big data and combined with the market data from Reuters for the world checks, and also with the dark web search. Any kind of internet sources could be taken or captured by the big data engines. They are combined in the storage servers, and without the data minings, it could be dangerous. So we need to have a minimum informations or minimum skills to make some data mining, and we need to learn about the machine learning so we can optimize about our data captures, or we have optimizations in our big data technology. And in these parts, we need to find about the key indicators before we take the audit actions. Please remind that our rules that we need an internal and regulatory for the processes, because this is our engines, this is our rules. You need to have a standards to be before you going to your audit sections. And if you find some alerts, it will be ruin your workflow. And also you need to have some informations like the mails, or maybe with the physical informations that notice with your alerts to your to save your companies, or with save your financial data. Okay, let's see about the one of the successful project implementations that we can know. It's called the Hadoop frameworks. A Hadoop is a Apache technology that will be uh separate in the three kind of the database, like the NoSQL for the next gens and the distribute file systems. So they have a difference. If you want to be a fast, random, and accesses, a full accesses, you can use the Apache SQL database. But if you need only for the resource managers or the optimizations for the schedule and the flexibility, please use about the MapReduce. And for the slow informations, or maybe with the fault the tolerance, you can use about the distribute file systems. So what kind of the Hadoop framework that you can do, you can learn, or you can distribute your big data technology to find with some index and search for the machine learning activity, OLAP, for the Excels, the real-time positions, and also with your isolate your data and find about the as of date about your version of the financial positions or the financial balance sheets, and also you can do with your full audit actions using the dynamic schemes, or it should be in the stream processing. So that is the one examples for the Hadoop schemes. For the next part, we need to know about the fintech solutions in our complex and contracts optimizations. The mind of the complex situations is starting about the new inventions in a behavioral biometrics. This is a new era of the security system using our financial technology. Maybe you can find in your countries, in the Philippines, that maybe for your bank applications need a biometric access. It could be for your fingerprints, or maybe for your eye retina. It's depend on the security. It's a kind of the behavioral biometrics. This is a new kinds of the security that will be completing with your checks of informations. You need to be accesses you with the behavioral biometrics. So you can secure your data, your usability, and it's a pragmatic, or it's acceptable for our new modern markets, and we have a new perceptions for the technology. Let's see, before we see about this short video, you may thinking about what is the biometrics is very useful for the futures. Okay, uh, let's see about the short video about how biometric is changing about our technology. Explain.
Welcome to TechFrame. Today I'm gonna explain biometrics. In biometrics, there are two types of categories. Both are extremely important in securing and identifying individuals. They can be used for locking your phone, identifying criminals by their fingerprints, and unlocking your phone by facial recognition or by fingerprint. There are many more examples to be made. These are the most common to use in your daily life. There are behavioral and physical biometrics. Behavioral biometrics is in its most common form. They use gait, keystroke, signature and lips movement. Physical biometrics is the most used in iris scans, fingerprints, facial recognition, and vein and hand recognition. Facial and fingerprints are the most common uses on phones, most commonly in Apple phones. The older generation of iPhones, they use fingerprint scanners, that they do scan the ridges of your fingers. The database matches the existing scan, and if it matches your finger, the device will be unlocked. Facial recognition, also standard on new generation iPhones, uses a technology that relies on machine learning technology. They pick out distinctive details, for example the distance between your eyes or the shape of your chin. This strengthens security, but this also requires big data sets and is not practical for smaller companies that want to develop data. Vein and hand recognition is growing in popularity. This is mostly used in forensic science. It is an extension of fingerprinting. The fingerprint is needed for direct contact, but vascular can be seen on security cameras. Most common area is the arm, hand, or hand palm. All veins have a unique pattern. How it works is infrared lights pass through the surface where they absorb into deoxygenated blood. There is a special camera needed to capture the footage, which digitalize the data and either store or use it to identify. One easy example is the smartwatch that uses a green infrared light to see your heart rate on the smartwatch. They see the thickness of your vein and digitalize the information. Iris recognition. Everybody has a unique iris and is therefore very secure. It's not very practical for forensic science, but is more common. For example, in several airports they use it for passport-free traveling for low-risk travelers, or used for access to data centers. For example, Google uses it for every data center. They use it also for a refugee camp in the Jordan by Iris Guard. For activating ATM for cash withdrawal. This is an upcoming trend. Behavioral biometrics is more commonly used in forensic science. It's used for identifying suspects by their behavior, like how they walk, their signature, their keystroke, their voice, and many more. In upcoming videos I'm gonna talk about each category in detail about how it works and where did they use it for. How is the security measures? The development of security in their future. For now, I keep it simple and understandable for everyone that is interested in biometrics. Gait is an important indicator for behavioral biometrics. You can identify somebody at long distances without direct contact, and it's even possible to observe around 24 individual parameters and movements. Everybody has a unique body movement, and you can see and capture it. This indicator needs multiple algorithms. In another video, I go in depth about it, how it works and how to replicate it. It required big data sets to store this information. There are a lot of things to say about this. Everyone is unique and has a different signature, and they wrote down on documents, contracts, and invoices. Everybody has unique handwriting and is also a biometric. Everybody has a different voice. Voice recognition is used mostly to talk, for example to Siri, but is also used for criminal investigation. They use the information and stores it in databases. It's used for the most part of identification for suspects. Thanks for watching. In the next video I go in depth about hand and vein recognition. As always, thanks for watching. Like if you liked the video. If you want to see more content and go in depth in this adventure, please consider a subscribe. It helps and motivates a lot. Thanks.
Okay, there is a short video about applying biometric in our technology. The biometric is embedded in our technology to help us for the ease of accesses using the fingerprints, or maybe with the retina, or maybe with the eye. Any kind of our parts of body will be connecting to your sign-in access to your technology. So, until this part, you may have any questions before I'm going to continue the materials. Any questions for Glynis? Maybe Sitabel, Yasin, or Oliver? None so far. Okay, thank you for responding, Oliver. If no questions, I will continue the
Welcome to
materials.
TechFrame. Today,
Okay. The next about the new innovations in our financial technology is creating about the ultra fast text of analysis in a trading strategies. If you see these ones, uh, it's very close to our marketings or the trading data, because from these parts about we need to learning about the real time of the transactions. That's what kind of the real time impacts to be success for investments in our business strategy, or maybe for the trading strategy, and what is the impact about the news of the in a news of the triangle. Like once if you find or you heard some news, it could be a bearish or the bullish for the our transactions. That is a very, very powerful. And there's we have a new automatic text analysis for the fundamentals analysis in our financials management. And also we can find about the identifications for the entity, any kind of wording that will be exploding for our entity, that should be an indicator to be success or not success in a success or not successes for our trading strategies. And then with this text analysis, we can make some decisions using the event and with the new investments models. And also we have the sentiments analysis with the opinion with our data minings. Uh, for another benefits is about any kind of applications that we can found in our devices using the automated text analysis, and it should be innovative technology to combining to the financials market. So as you see on the screens, that this is the one kind of the sentiment analysis. The sentiment analysis is producing about the text that should be support your investment decisions. If you find about the questions or about the market situations, that will be giving you an opinion about the sentiment of the markets. That should be increasing about your polarity, your value of the companies. It should be you need to buy or you sell with the uh, market share or the market price. The next innovation is about the new information about the regulated crowding ecosystems. The crowdfunding is kind of the investments, but it's only for the small investors. The small investor means that if you are an investor, that you only have the small fundings. Maybe you have not no more for money for the investments, but you can make some collaborations with another investor. That's a system of the crowdfundings. The system of the crowdfunding is very connecting with the four of key pillars. They depend on the technology, they depend on the internet, and they depend also the social media for the sentiment and with the protection for the governments. So the crowdfundings could be new for investment strategy because it's uh, joined in the internet and the technology era. So this is the two part of the pillar of the crowdfunding systems. Let's see how the crowdfundings or the kind of the crowdfundings will be found in your environments, maybe in your countries, Philippines, and also how we can make some crowdfundings. Let's learn about the crowdfunding system from this video.
Let's talk about one of the fastest growing online industries, crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is when individuals or startups use an online platform to gain funding for a project. Globally, the crowdfunding industry raised 16.2 billion US dollars in 2015 and is projected to grow to 96 billion by 2025. Generally speaking, there are four kinds of crowdfunding sites, although some sites include more than one type of crowdfunding. First, debt-based sites. These are where contributors receive interest payments in exchange for their contributions. Examples include Funded Here, Crowdo, and Moolah Sense. Next, equity-based sites, where contributors receive shares in exchange for their contributions. Examples include AngelList, Funnel, Seeders, and CapBridge. Third, reward-based platforms, where contributors are promised rewards in exchange for their support, like first priority access to the product once it goes live. Examples include Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Ulule. Finally, donation-based platforms, where donations are charitable and usually tax-deductible. Examples include Indiegogo, Patreon, YouCaring, and FriendFund. Now, crowdfunding websites have to invest heavily in their platforms up front and slowly build up scale. So before investing in a crowdfunding platform, it's important to consider its stage of growth. In the early stage, the main focus should be on customer traction. You can gauge this by the amount of momentum being built among project initiators and investors. Therefore, the key valuation metrics include valuation divided by number of campaigns, valuation divided by successful campaigns, and valuation by funds raised. In the growth stage, the aim is to prove the revenue model and to scale up as rapidly as possible. Therefore, the key valuation metrics include valuation divided by funding value and valuation divided by revenue. Finally, in the late stage, the goal is to maximize profitability and cash flow while maintaining growth. Therefore, the key valuation metrics include valuation divided by revenue, valuation divided by EBITDA, and the PE ratio. Those are the basics of crowdfunding. To learn more, visit sgxacademy.com or download the digital research paper at sgx.com/digital sector. And good luck.
Okay, that is the guidance and uh, short informations about the crowdfundings and how to be joining with this kind of investment, the crowdfundings. So the crowdfundings have different ecosystems with our financial services. The crowdfunding ecosystem have some participants and responsibility from these investors. They should be from the accredited investor and non-accredited investor. They are differs from the issuer of the companies, like the registered legal entity, the due of diligence requires the capital and also with the regulations. So the crowdfunding portals is depend on their investor, like a good companies as the profile, the matching strategies, the oversight of the informations, and also the claim they handle about the good governance and the commissions or fee regulations. And from the dealer or the brokers, they need to be operate in the portals and licensed by the government centrals. The non-accredited investors is depend with the any agent from the securities, like the regulator, the monitors, the rules, the fine, the penalty, and also the sanctions. And it's also included for the third-party providers, like the lawyers to be protect your legal document or with your legal officer activity, and then for the accountants to be your financial advisors, and also with your consultants for the technology or for the decisions for your investments, and they are connected with your make some collaborations with the technology informations, and also the marketing, the governments, and also the compliance. So this is the participants and the responsibility between the crowdfunding ecosystems. Next, we are going to the fintech solutions for the small businesses that will be applied to our financial ecosystems. We say that this one is the payment ecosystems. What is the meaning of the payment ecosystems? The payment ecosystem is consists of the any kind of payment or the payment activities like the e-wallets, like the acquirers, the card associations, and it kind of the mobile payments. You can choose with the loop payments, even they are in the open system or in the closed systems, like the PayPal, the Bitcoin, the Boku, and Amazon payments. It will be connecting to your any kind of the payment ecosystems. You can use by the e-wallets. This is the kind of the example of e-wallets. And then we have the acquirers for the companies or institutions. And then you will be connecting to your card associations. For the commons, we have connecting to the Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. And then also with the kind of transaction using the mobile payment, using the PayPal, or any kind of the transactions using the mobile innovations. And then the next solution for a small businesses is about the consumer adoptions. The consumer adoptions is take some informations that we have the total in the active or the consumer is a mobile users. So they also have a lot of credit cards, and half of them is you are in an active positions. So with these parts, we learn that the consumers is have a good shares or good informations uh, to take some activity using the financial technology, especially for the small businesses. There is the two kind of solutions that we can uh, runs that we can predict, and it's also adjustables for our consumer, the small business, and also with the payments ecosystems that will be handled in the small, medium, and enterprises. Okay, that's all the materials for today. to learning about the fintech solutions that we are starting about the global informations that there's been broken systems, and we found that we have a mobile dynamic payments, and for this kind of the innovations, it tends to be with the banking regulations or the counter regulations is supporting about the small businesses, so we can find the any kind of the fintech solutions for the business like the financial ecosystems, and also with the time of how they can generate the new investments or the new users using the financial technology. Okay, that's all for the informations for our classes today. Any questions is open to you. If you have any questions for from Clinis, Yasin, Sitabel, Fenis, or Oliver, we are into week 6. Yeah. Okay, thank you for responding, Olivers. No questions for Olivers. How about Clinis? None so far. Okay, thank you for responding, Fenis. Okay. If you doesn't have any questions, let's back to our Ukida virtual class. Yeah. We still have one sessions before we're going to the midterms. We still one session in 1 April. So for the sessions or today's sessions, you doesn't have any quizzes. I'll give you 3 weeks before the midterms. But since it doesn't graded by your sessions number 6, you need to prepare by yourself about your midterms. In the midterms, you will choose about the one of applications or the one of financial technology that exists in your countries. So from now, you can check it first. You can create some decisions. Please choose one of financial technology applications or financial technology institutions that you will be present on your midterms. For the next week, I will show you about what you want to know, what you want to prepare for the midterms. For now, you need to find about the informations from your fintech applications. Maybe you can choose with the one of fintech applications that exist in your Philippines, and you need to gather uh, it's who is the founders, what is the funding, what is the payment systems, and how they can gather for the new users. And you only have 15 minutes for presentations to learn or to show about your uh, knowledge about your financial technology that you have been choosing, and you'll be shared to any kind of us in midterm presentations. Okay, thank you for responding, Glenis. Okay. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for open your camera. Thank you for participating in our discussions. Even you are only for the chat box. I'm very appreciative about your attendance. Okay, we will meet again in 1 April for the sessions number 7. Thank you, everyone, and I will link about the recording of this class into your virtual class, Ukrida virtual class. Thank you for coming today, and see you next week.